Okay, we're back now with the first parak of Mesechet Kinim, the third Mishnah. It starts off b'med devarim amurim. B'med devarim amurim is what did they really say? And it's an expression that we learn in the Gemara, is one of two expressions which is used as a euphemism for Moshe Rabbeinu speaking to us. And so b'med devarim amurim. Bechova u'benadava. So up until now we've had introduction, definitions of individuals, definitions of groups, of individuals getting mixed up with individuals, of individuals getting mixed up with groups, and now we're going to deal with aval bechova shenitavazu bezu. We're going to deal with an obligatory set gets mixed up with another obligatory set. Echad bezu ve'echad bezu, one obligatory set with another obligatory set. Shnayim bezu u'shnayim bezu, two obligatory sets with two obligatory sets. Shalosh bezu ve'shalosh bezu, three obligatory sets with three obligatory sets. Meksa kosher, meksa puzzle. Half of this group is kosher and half of this group is puzzle not to be used. So that's the first part of the Mishnah. Let's look at it. And what we had was, let's say we have, instead of using XX, I have Mrs. A brings two birds, and Mrs. B brings two birds, and they get mixed up. That's the zu echad. So I'll take one bird out, and this could either be a bird from Mrs. A, or this could be a bird from Mrs. B. Those are the only two choices for the first bird. Okay. Now, if it's a bird from Mrs. A, I haven't done anything with them. All I know about Mrs. A is that she said, these are my two birds. She didn't say one is the Chattas and one is the Ola. Whichever one is going to be the Chattas makes the other one have to be the Ola and vice versa, and the same with Mrs. B. So let's say I make this the Chattas. I could make this the Chattas for Mrs. A. I can make this the Chattas for Mrs. B. So the first bird I can make a Chattas. Lovely. Now let's go to the second bird. Second bird, if the first bird was from Mrs. A, I have left two B birds and one A bird. So the second bird, in this case, could either be from A or it could be from B. If the first bird was from B, the next bird could either be one of the two A birds or it could be the other B bird. Those are the four possibilities as to who the second bird could be. Now let's see how we have to use them. If the first bird that I used was from A and I made it a Chattas, the second bird from A has to get used as an Ola. If the first bird I used was from A and the second bird is from B, I haven't used any birds from B yet. I can do whatever I want. If the first bird was from B and the second is from A, I haven't used any from A. Do whatever I want. And if the first was from B and the second was from B, the first one from B I made a Chattas, the second one I have to make an Ola. So, Ola, do whatever you want, do whatever you want. Ola, the second bird, I can make an Ola. Now let's see if we can use the third bird. For the third bird, let's go like this. If I use two A birds, all I have left is B. If I used an A bird and a B bird, then I still have another A bird and a B bird left. If I used a B bird and an A bird, then I still have an A bird and a B bird left. And if I use two B birds, I only have an A bird left. Now let's see, how do you use them? If this is the first B bird, do whatever you want. If this is the second A bird, I used an A as a Chattas, a B as an Ola. Now I have to make this A bird an Ola. If I used an A bird and a B bird, the A bird was a Chattas and the B bird was an Ola, then this has to be a Chattas. If I use the first bird was a B, a Chattas, and the second was an A, an Ola, this is the second A bird, has to be a Chattas. If I use the first bird, a B bird is a Chattas, and the second bird, an A bird is an Ola, this is the second B bird. First bird, B bird was a Chattas, second one has to be an Ola. If I used a B bird and a B bird, this is my first A bird, do whatever you want. For the third bird, there are these are the six possibilities. Do whatever you want. Have to make it an Ola, have to make it a Chattas, have to make it a Chattas, have to make it an Ola, do whatever you want. Sorry. you can only use that many. So what's the rule here? The rule we said was meksa kosher or meksa puzzle. Half are kosher and half are puzzle. What's the half? If both of them are from B, one chatas and one ola. If both of them are from A, one chatas and one ola. If one of them is from A and one of them is from B, one chatas, one ola, fine. But if I try to take 3 birds and I make 2 chatases and 1 ola, then maybe the two chatases are from B, or maybe the 2 chatases are from A. So all I can use is half of the total number of birds, and of those half of those I make chatas and half of those I make ola. That's the beginning, the first part of this Mishnah. Now, that was the case where the number of A birds and the number of B birds are the same. So what about the case where the number of A birds and the number of B birds are not the same? And that's what the Mishnah now gives us. It says, Echad zu what about the case where one woman brings me 1 pair and another woman brings me 2 pairs? Or maybe I have 2 pairs and 3 pairs, or 3 pairs and 10 pairs, or 10 pairs and 100 pairs, or multiple women, 1 pair with 2 pairs, with 3 pairs, with 10 pairs, with 100 pairs. Hamuat kosher, the smaller group is kosher. What's the story? The story looks like this. Mrs. A brings me 2 birds. Mrs. B brings me 4 birds. They all get mixed up. Okay? Now, I say, take the first bird out. It's either an A bird or a B bird. So let's make it a chatas. We're okay with everybody. If it was an A bird, I still have A birds and B birds. If it was a B bird, I still have A birds and B birds. Okay, those are the 4 possibilities for the second bird. If the first bird from A was a chatas, the second one has to be an ola. If it's the first bird from B, do whatever you want. If it's the first bird from A, do whatever you want. And if it's the second bird from B, because I have 4 birds in B, I can also do whatever you want. Okay, so ola, do whatever you want, do what you want. Make the second bird an ola. Third bird. If I used A and A, I have a B left. If I used A and B, I still have A and B. If I use B and A, I still have A and B. And if I use B and B, I still have A and B. Okay, continuing. So here are the 3 cases for the third. Here are the 7 cases for the third bird. If it's the first B bird, do whatever you want. If it's the second A bird and the first A bird I made a chatas, you have to make it an ola. If it's the second B bird, do whatever you want. If it's the second A bird and the first A bird I made an ola, then I have to make it a chatas. If it's the second B bird, do whatever you want. If it's the first A bird, do whatever you want. If it's the third B bird and the first one I made a chatas and the second one I made an ola, do whatever you want. So these cases are 5 cases, do whatever you want. 1 case I have to make it a chatas, 1 case I have to make it an ola. That's as far as you can go. And so the reasoning is, if I have a group of unequal numbers, A birds with B birds, from one woman and another, hamuat kosher, the number in the smaller group is the kosher ones. Not necessarily these 2 birds, but 2 out of these whole set of 6 birds I can use kosher. 1 is a chatas and 1 is an ola. Because if both of them are from A, I'm okay. If both of them are from B, I'm okay. If 1 is from A and 1 is from B, I'm okay. If I try to use 3 birds from here, I make 2 chatases and 1 ola. Maybe the 2 that I make chatases are both from A. And that would be a problem because that violates the condition of Mrs. A that said 1 is going to be a chatas and 1 is going to be an ola, or vice versa. Okay? So, coming back to Mishnah Gimel, they now conclude with Ben Mishem Echad, if it's according to 1 name, Ben Mishnei Shemot, if it's according to 2 names, Ben Isha Echad, if it's from 1 woman, Ben Mishnei Nashim, if it's from 2 women. And this is explained in the fourth Mishnah, which we'll continue with now. Here in the fourth Mishnah it says, Ketzad, for example, Mishem Echad, of one name, Leida v'Leida, for a birth and for another birth, or Ziva v'Ziva, for a flow or a second flow. These are two examples, Mishem Echad, of one name. Mishnei Shemot, Leida v'Ziva. One group of birds was because of birth and the other was because of flow. Ketzad Shtei Nashim, for example, two women, Alzu Leida v'Alzu Ziva. One woman gave birth and the other woman gave birth. Alzu Ziva v'Alzu Ziva. Alzu Leida v'Alzu Leida. Alzu Ziva v'Alzu Ziva. This one woman had a flow and the other woman had a flow. These are both from one name. Mishnei Shemot, from two names, Alzu Leida v'Alzu Ziva. One of them was for a birth and the other one was for a flow. Now, this should all be, as in the case of most Mishnahs, that you should be able to work out the first half of the Mishnah from your own reasoning of the Mishnah. And what the way that Chazal teaches is in the Sefer of the Mishnah. Once you think now, oh, now I'm going to understand this, now they show you a piece which is the reason that they're bringing you this. And here the Sefer of the Mishnah is, Rabbi Yossi Omer, that's Rabbi Yossi comes to say something on top of B'med Devarim Omarim. He comes this far after Moshe Rabbeinu and he has a comment to add which is worthy of note. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Shtei Nashim Shelaku Kinehem Be'eruv. Two women that they took their nests as a partnership. O Shenatnu Demei Kinehem the Kohen. Or they took their money and put it together and gave the money together to the Kohen. It's not a pair getting mixed up with another pair, or the money getting mixed up with another pair. This is a different case. The Ezish Yirtzeh Kohen Yakriv Chatas, whichever one the Kohen is going to do Chatas is, and the Ezish Yirtzeh Kohen Yakriv Ola, and whichever ones he needs to do, he makes his Ola. Ben Shem Echad, Ben Meshnei Shemot. Whether these are all for a Leda, or all for birth, or all for Ziva, or all for flow, or one for birth and one for flow. And the reason is that the Kohen who takes the birds and does this offering and brings them to the altar, he is an agent for the intentions of the people who brought him these birds. If a woman goes out and buys a pair of birds and she says, this is my pair of birds, then on that pair of birds, one of them has to get used as a chatas and one as an olah. But if she goes out with a second woman, and the two of them go buy birds together and they go into partnership, their intention is to do the best case, not to create problems. There's been no mix-up here of intention. And therefore these birds are not mixed together as if they were the intentions of Mrs. A getting mixed up with the intentions of Mrs. B. Their intentions are joint, and their intentions are according to all cases that things are being worked out correctly. And that is the presumption that people have when they go into partnership, even if they don't work out the explicit combinatorics of all possible combinations. So you don't take, if they put their money together, you don't take half the money and throw it into the Dead Sea. If they went out and bought birds together, you can use all the birds, because the Kohen is correctly expressing the intention of the owners. It's in the case where each of them bought individually and then the birds got mixed up, where the Kohen is not able to express the intention of the owners, and therefore some birds cannot be used properly because we do not know what the intention was on them. The basic idea underneath all of this is that the intention, what the Kohen will do in the case of the partnership of the two women, he may have to make a package of intention. If this is from the first woman, then this is her chatas, and if this is the second, and a whole collection of things. Or he can say, you know that they went into partnership and this is their intention. Here is the ola of one of these women of the partnership, etc. So the issue of intention can be accommodated according to all kinds of complexity. The limiting case is, what do I do with the bird? Back with the definition. Can I take the blood of it and put it above the line or below the line? So it's the world of action which creates the limitation, not the world of intention. That concludes this Mishnah and this parak.